Hey haul, it's Natalie for Cherry on Top Crafts today, and I am digging into the new Sunshine on My Mind collection by Pink Fresh Studio today, and I'm making a super fun summer layout. So I'm going to be using these rounded braided rectangular dies that are also from Pink Fresh Studio. So I'm just kind of showing you, I'm going to cut them out of the different papers from the paper pack and then kind of like pile them up behind the photos. And then before I do that though, I'm going to use this retro summer sunburst stencil that is from Simple Stories, and I'm going to use my Waffle Flower Crafts blending brushes. That is purple tape from Altenew, and I'm going to use the Squeeze Lemonade Distress Oxide, and I'm going to just put the ink through the stencil in each of the two corners there that you see. And then I'll once I remove the stencil, I'll kind of extend the sign a little bit so it'll be a little bit larger than what the stencil shows, but just to the corner of the page. But you can see I kind of stop before I hit the hard edge of the stencils so that I have like more of an organic ending to the sun rays. So I really like the way that that looks. So now I'm just going to fill in the rest of that circle for the sun, and then I'm going to do the same thing at the opposite corner. You can find me on the Cherry on Top blog today, and it will link to all of these products. I also have some links down below in my description box. If you have any questions, please let me know and I will point you in the right direction for any of these products. And just going to finish out that sun down there. So next I'm going to just put the ink onto my glass mat, and I'm going to spray it and turn it into watercolor. And then I'm going to put a generous amount of splatter all around the stenciled area. And I also end up doing a little bit of clear water as well because it's distressed oxides. So the clear water can kind of model the look of the ink and pick up some of the color and make it look unique. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. And while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and die cut. So I'm going to pick out which of the 6x6 papers from the Sunshine on My Mind paper pack I would like to use with those beautiful rectangular dies. So I'm just kind of going through, and you can see I have yellow in the background, and then a lot of the photos are very blue because of the lake and the sky. So just picking out a few coordinating pieces. I don't want to do another piece that's too yellow because I have enough yellow in the background. And so I go with this one that has pink, and I'm just going to use the pink sections. I do take this next opportunity to let you know I'm using my chrome precision plate because this braided die has so many little intricate pieces there. I suggest using a chrome precision plate if you have one. I normally use the I think it's iCrafter, the iCrafter magnetic pad for my Big Shot, but in this case, when it's really intricate dies like this, I like to use the chrome precision base plate for Sizzix. So that is what I'm showing you there. I don't always use that because it can warp your dies, so that's just like a warning. But I use it for the ones that need it, the really precise and delicate ones. So my background's dried. I also cut a few of the rectangles out of vellum paper as well because I wanted to be able to see the ink blending through the vellum. And I'm just kind of like laying them all on the page to see how I want everything to look behind my photos. I'll run some off of the page, and yeah, it's just the look that I'm going for there. So now I'm going through the acetate ephemera pack from Sunshine on My Mind, and I love Pink Fresh Studio. Always has the most fun phrases, and so I'm just kind of picking out which one I would like to use for my title, which is going to be placed there in the middle. So I decide on Happy Place, and I add another cardstock ephemera piece. Okay, then this big summer fun ephemera piece came out of the cardstock ephemera, so I decide to cut it in the same shape as the rectangle, and I only did the outside of the rectangle. I didn't do the braided part, and then I thought, well, why not? It doesn't cover any of the words, so I actually take it back to the Cricut, and not the Cricut, the Big Shot, and I run it through with the braided bit as well. So I'm just kind of figuring out how I want everything to be on the page and how I'm going to arrange it with my photos. So I decide that I want to ink up the edges of all of the papers with pink. I also added a white cardstock behind all of my photos. I go a little wrong here, and you'll see what I mean in a second, but basically when you ink up your papers, you really want to allow the edges and the ink to dry, and on the vellum it takes a lot longer to dry. So what I ended up doing was being impatient, and I kind of stacked the pieces together before the vellum pieces dry, and I kind of messed up the summer fun ephemera piece. It wasn't bad enough to not use it, but you'll see what I try to do to remedy it here in a minute. But I do like the pop that the pink is giving on all the pieces that I am inking up, and how it helps them to stand out from the page. So there I go. I stack them up, and I shouldn't have done that. So don't do that, especially your vellum. Like, vellum takes a little bit longer to dry. So I'm just rearranging them on the page again here. And I'll run some of them off the page, and then I realized, oh no, the pink got on the words, right? So I try to make it look intentional. So I do the same technique with my splatter that I did with the yellow, and I just kind of added pink splatter to the rest of that ephemera piece, and it still doesn't look great. I don't even know that it looks intentional, but at least it looks more distressed, so that like it kind of makes sense. I don't know. A lot of you probably would have just scrapped that piece, but I really liked it. I liked the pop, and I liked what it said, and I liked the way it looked on the page. So I kept it, and I went with it. And again, I like the distressed vibe, and it goes with all the other pages in my album, so it's fine. It's fine to me. So I'm just using really thin pieces of the cherry tape to stick the vellum down. Oh, actually, that's not true. I'm using the HTG gun, but I'll just put the tape in places where I know that I'm going to place something else over it, so you won't be able to see through it. And then some of the pieces I'm using the cherry foam tape to pop up and give lots of good dimension. And so I like to vary the heights of the different papers and the photos. So some of the photos go directly down onto the background page, and some of them are popped up on foam, and same for all of the little die cut paper pieces and everything. So that adds to the dimension of the page, and giving it a lot of depth and visual interest. Let's see, what are we doing? So I'm just making sure to like only add the foam pieces around the bits that are touching the paper, because the other bits that rest on top of the pieces that are already popped up don't need additional foam, or they would be double popped. And then that little tag is from the ephemera pack for Sunshine in My Mind. And now I'm going into the acetate pieces. I'm pulling out the florals, and I think I'm going to edit some of them, like cut them down, and then I'm going to place them on the back side of the paper so that it looks like they are also popped up. But by attaching them to the foam popped paper, then they also look like they have that height without adding foam to them, because you'll be able to see the foam behind the clear acetate. And we're just finishing this up now, just kind of layering pieces, deciding which level of the other pieces they get attached to. This collection is so much fun. It's such a fun, bright, summery collection, and it can be used for so many different things, because I'm using it for lake pictures. It could obviously be used for beach pictures, and you can use it for garden pictures, any type of summer activity. It doesn't have to be on the water. It's not like super water sport heavy or anything like that. That's one reason that I really love it. And the colors are so bright and vibrant. Find me on the Cherry blog today. I'm not sure if I said that already, but I'm on the Cherry blog today. Yeah, I think I did say that, because they will link you to all the places you can buy these, but I will also provide the links down below if you would like. And let me know if you have any questions. So the puffy alphas that come in this collection, so there's a large set and a small set, and so the ones I'm using on today's layout is the large set, and they're so cute, and they come in so many different colors, but I specifically picked out only pink and yellow to kind of go with the vibe that I had going on in most of the background, which was like yellow and then pink pops and just a little bit of blue. So I didn't add any blue into the title because there was no other places in the title that had the blue, so I'm going to stick down. That's why I used the cherry tape, to just add the clear tape behind the acetate piece, just on the very edges, so you can't really see through it. And then I'm going to use my Nuva adhesive to add additional wet glue on top behind the alphas, which I typically do. Then I'm going to pop up the word hey to add to the dimension along with the rest of the page. And so it just adds a fun little, oh, I also decided to ink up the edges of that white die cut. Since I did it with the papers, I guess is why I decided to do that. I'm using my Waffle Flower Crafts ink blending brush to do that. And I think we're going to call it a layout. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions, and pop by the blog to see all of the other details. Bye, y'all.